Hey everyone, this amazing ESO Network show is brought to you by our fine sponsor, Amazon.com. Please remember to shop Amazon for all your geeky needs, no matter what time of the year it is. All you need to do is go to esopodcast.com/ESO Amazon, or click on the Amazon banner on the ESO Network webpage to go to our e-store. It's the best way to shop and the best way to support this program, and it doesn't cost you anything extra. Okay, that's enough of me babbling for now. Now on with your regular scheduled show.
Exploring the multiverse of pop culture.
This is Pod Casserole.
An Adam and JP show.
Hey, look, it's the Tuesday Pod Casserole.
Hey, it's time, you know.
I'm Jay Patrick, that's Adam.
I'm excited about today's show.
You're always excited.
But even more so today. It's the deepest of shows.
We're going to go through our favorite film characters of the 1980s.
Yeah, this could go on a long time, you know.
In retrospect, we should have made this 2 episodes.
You think so?
Yeah.
We can make it fast.
I've got a lot.
We can make it ahead of time.
Just without looking at any of the names. Look how,
oh, wow.
how many are on my list.
Yeah, mine's pretty long.
Yeah, it's a pretty hefty list.
Yeah.
Hey, we're not going to do the SOBOTW of the week. We usually do that on Tuesday. Yeah. We'll bring that back next week. But I do want to do, because of stories that have come out this week, or coverage, I guess, I want to do This Week in NWO News.
All right.
I've changed the This Week in NWO News theme up a little bit.
It's iconic, too.
And it's iconic, but I think this is maybe more fitting for the world that we currently live in.
Crawl out through the fallout, baby, when they drop that bomb.
Like
Crawl out through
I remember when I was a kid,
Good choice, yeah.
living in fear of like a nuclear attack.
Yeah.
I found myself with the same fears
Is it back now?
as a man in his 40s. Do you not?
If it happens, it happens.
What can we do about it?
Have you listened to S-Town at all?
No.
You should listen to that. He uses references to this kind of stuff right here.
Really?
Like the main character of the story hates life on Earth so very much. He's begging. He's like, please, Putin, please just give us a damn break. Drop the damn bomb already. So it's a reference to that.
about your hero when you're at ground zero and crawl out through the fallout back to me.
And it kind of goes along with this conspiracy theory that I'm going to talk about. Maybe not a conspiracy theory. Well, yeah, there is a conspiracy theory element to this. Are you familiar with the idea of Planet X, Adam?
I think I've heard the term before, but not so much information on that. Fill me in.
The idea is that since Pluto was taken off the planet list,
Right.
and now we only have 8 planets,
Yeah.
that Planet X is actually a 9th planet.
Okay.
Either, depending upon who you talk to, inside our solar system or just outside our solar system.
Okay. So fairly-ish close.
Yeah, I found a YouTube channel called All Time Conspiracy, all one word, and they do a nice job of kind of explaining the idea of Planet X.
In December 1983, scientists at the IRAS Space Observatory made headlines when they announced that they had used an infrared satellite to detect an unknown object, possibly as large as the giant planet Jupiter, and possibly so close to Earth that it would be part of this solar system. This mystery in space had been detected twice in 6 months, near the constellation Orion, and it was described by IRAS as being so cold that it cast no light, which explained why they hadn't seen the object before with optical telescopes on Earth or in space. IRAS reported that the object appeared to be moving towards Earth. With the discovery of the unknown object, it seemed conceivable that the search for the elusive Planet X was finally over.
So the scientists in 1983 discover this planet. Mm-hmm. Could have been an anomaly. But for the sake of this argument, we'll say they discovered Planet X. All Time Conspiracy goes on to talk about the cover-up from NASA.
No, well, first off, is this a fact or a conspiracy?
Well, it's a theory that the scientists found this.
So this is not an actual fact.
Well,
because it happens quite often. We find these
planetoids are all over the place. I mean, you're right. That does happen often. So it's very possible this was discovered.
Right.
But then when NASA went to try to find it, NASA says they couldn't find anything.
Oh, okay.
But just 4 years later, in 1987, NASA announced that its 2 Pioneer spacecrafts, which had explored beyond the known planets since 1972, had failed to find any evidence to support speculation that Planet X is out there.
So you have this one group of scientists that say, hey, we found this thing and it's moving towards Earth. NASA goes to look in the same area and around that area and where it's speculated this thing would be. And NASA says, we don't see anything. Mm-hmm. Thus begins the conspiracy that the government is actually covering up Planet X, a planet that is bigger than Jupiter, that is actually moving towards the Earth. And mark this down on your calendars, kids. Between September or October of 2017, Planet X will pass close enough to the Earth to possibly kill all life on Earth.
As we spoke of last week, the actual 6th mass extinction. This could be it.
This could be it. It could be Planet X.
Wow.
And this is I'm not kidding. This is like a big alt news story, right?
Yeah.
Maybe that's the wrong term. A conspiracy news story.
Okay.
That there actually is this Planet X that's out there that's moving towards the Earth, and sometime this fall is going to pass close enough to the Earth to there's one theory that says it will crash into Earth.
That would suck.
Wiping out all life, or it will pass close enough to Earth to disrupt the Earth and kill most life on the Earth.
Wow. So either way, we're screwed.
Yeah. So there's a guy named David Mead. You can look this guy up if you want.
Okay.
David Mead is a scientist. He also has written some books. One of his more recent books was called Coup d'etat of Trump.
Ooh.
And he also wrote a book about Planet X. And he appeared on a show called Skywatch News last year to talk about the idea of Planet X and what we can look forward to this year. But before they get into that, David Mead talks a little bit about why he got involved in this kind of conspiracy theory, alternative news to begin with.
You've got a really cool book coming up here that's going to break everything down with Nibiru. Let's talk about what you do.
Nibiru is the name of Planet X.
I've always believed in following the money. About 5 years ago, I got into some research on the Pentagon black budget. And I don't know if you recall, but you probably do, that the day before 9/11, Don Rumsfeld announced at a Pentagon news conference that the agency was $2.2 trillion short. Money was simply missing, 2.2, not billion, but trillion. So having worked for a period of time at the Pentagon, I realized this was most likely black budget funds. And I did some investigation, and I ran across a couple of areas, basically the deep underground military base research done by Jesse Ventura, done by Phil Schneider, done by other personalities. And I realized, of course, that's likely the source of the lost money. It's black budget ops, and it's being spent. And why is it being spent in terms of these type of bases? So that's how my curiosity was picked, you might say.
David goes on to explain that when he talks about these bases, these underground bunkers, like, Adam, who do you think is going to benefit from the underground bunkers when Planet X comes crashing into Earth?
I don't know.
That's right. Members of the New World Order, the elitist, the Illuminati.
As told by the body.
Exactly.
Jesse the Body Ventura.
When Jesse the Body Ventura is going to be one of your go-to experts to explain something, perhaps you're questioning the argument that you've chosen to make.
So I'm seeing Mr. David Mead's book reviews on Amazon. And apparently it's very, I don't hear it in these interviews so much, but the books themselves are very religious. It's very Christian-based. So people say they like the idea of it. They just didn't know and expect it to be so religious going into it. I didn't know that he had religion twist to it.
That's kind of the backbone of his Planet X theory, is that he believes in Planet X,
This is Revelations?
or Nibiru, as it's called. He believes that Nibiru is on the way and that it is Revelations, that this will be the end of times as talked about in the book of Revelations. It will be a planet bigger than Jupiter crashing in or passing by the Earth. He's of the mind that it's probably going to pass by the Earth, but some believe it will actually crash into the Earth.
And as I usually ask, for these conspiracy theorists, what is his reasoning that NASA isn't being honest with us? What's the purpose behind that?
Well, it kind of goes back to something that I said I believed in last week, and that is
fear of just
if the government did know something that's catastrophic was going to happen and they couldn't prevent it, they wouldn't tell us.
Right.
Which is true. But when you start listening to some of the theories about Nibiru, like, for instance, at certain points in the world, at certain times of the day, people have actually seen it in the sky, and it looks like multiple suns.
There's some very good videos on the internet itself that are good photographic analysis. There's one called Multiple Suns Rise Over Halifax, Nova Scotia. Those are the keywords that a person would enter on YouTube to read it or view it. And you can see the sun. And then at the 3 o'clock position, you have Planet X. To the right of Planet X, you have a separate lens flare. Now, that doesn't reflect the lens flare, of course, in the water below. But Planet X is generating its own light, and you can see its reflection, therefore, in the water below. Next, I think a fog bank moves in, and it obscures the sun, but Planet X is still visible. A lens flare cannot do this. Now, that's one good example of something they could simply look up themselves on YouTube.
And that's true. I've actually looked this up.
I am right now.
You're looking at it now.
That's pretty crazy.
It does look like two suns. If you look closely, it looks like 3 suns.
I feel like I'm moisture farming right now. That's crazy. That's pretty nuts.
You can also find, we're going to come back to that in just a second, that actual video.
Yeah.
But you can also find evidence that there have been videos taken of 2 suns over New York City, over Phoenix, Arizona. Different parts of the world at different times have experienced the 2 suns. That is, in fact, not 2 suns, but the planet Nibiru, which is careening towards the planet Earth.
Wow.
And let me tell you something, buddy. Nibiru's not coming alone. He's bringing friends.
Uh-oh.
Right. There's a number of videos there. I've seen some real good ones from the South Pole Telescope. And they indicate that there are a variety of moons around this. It's basically, as you say, it's its own solar system. A lot of people don't realize this, but binary, what we've got in our solar system here is obviously a binary twin. 76%, this is a fact, of all stars are binary twins. In fact, 16% are trinary twins. There are 3 suns, but ours has a binary companion, and it comes under the name of Planet X, Nibiru, and so forth, Nemesis. There are various names to it. But ours has a binary twin, and it's very common. It's extremely common, and it's basically what is approaching us. And apparently, from all descriptions, indications, reports, insider reports, photographs, and other sources of human and signal intelligence, it contains 5 to 7 moons around it. So it's a solar system approaching our solar system, which makes it extremely dangerous.
You tell Earth Nibiru is coming, and my moons are coming with me.
Wow. This is crazy.
Yeah.
I'm watching these videos. There are quite a few occurrences of the double sun.
Uh-huh.
That's nuts, man.
So let's just kind of reset here. Sometime between September and October of 2017, giant, bigger than Jupiter planet known as Planet X, Nemesis, or Nibiru is going to come within 700 to 900 million miles of Earth, bringing its moons. And quite possibly, the planet or one of its moons will smack into the planet Earth, ending all life as we know it.
That's what the story says.
Wow. So when this happens, you would think, if the government knows, then surely someone in the government is going to talk about this, right?
Right.
Not according to David Meade.
Right. There's a lot of disinformation out there, and you have to consider the sources of the disinformation. Obviously, I have a feeling when people join Congress nowadays, whether they join as a senator or at the lower level, that they have a visit from a higher up or from their local NSA agent pretty quick on, and they say, you're going to find out some things that we don't want you to talk about. And if you don't talk about them, guess what? We're going to give you a seat in an apartment at an underground base when this all happens. And so you don't really have anything at all. You have a complete, blackout of news from the so-called authorities of Washington, D.C. But again, what do you expect? You have to consider the source.
So every senator and every member of the House of Representatives, every member of government is aware of what's going to happen this fall.
Every single one.
But no one's talking because they will have an apartment in one of the underground bunkers.
I'm almost positive Trump would have tweeted this by now.
Oh, I think so too. Planet X is real.
It's huge.
So it is huge. It's bigger than Jupiter. So if you're going to believe that, surely there's not enough room in all these bunkers for every senator, every member of the House of Representatives, every member of government, and their family and extended family, the people that they would want to survive this, right?
Right.
Wouldn't that be enough to make someone talk eventually? You would think. I don't know.
Wow. I'm on a wormhole of this whole thing right now.
It's crazy, isn't it?
Yeah.
We're going to go back to the double suns here in just a second.
Oh, man.
Are you worried? Are you a little concerned?
There's just a lot of stuff to take in.
The people are seeing the Nibiru, the old nemesis.
I went a YouTube wormhole from that video of the double suns. Now I'm looking at a square snowflakes happening while there are visible chemtrails above us. And people's comments are crazy, man.
I don't know if that's related to Planet X or not.
Not so much.
That may be a different conspiracy.
That's a different week thing. I'm getting stuff for next week.
So we should do chemtrails. That's always interesting.
This lady's responses, but they sound so smart. The people that talk about this, using big words, and they seem educated.
Yeah.
It's almost, when I look into this stuff, I'm not trying to prep for doomsday. I go into it with an entertainment aspect. Like, for me, it's a fun thing to look at and to laugh at. And what if? It's my what if series of Marvel comics in real life.
Perhaps you should be prepping for doomsday.
Oh, yeah?
Because David Mead explains exactly what it will be like this fall.
Basically, when X approaches, that week you see it in the sky, let's say it's October of 2017, for purposes of discussion. At that point, it's not going to actually collide, I don't believe, with the Earth. The Earth is only 8,000 miles in diameter. It may pass 5, 10, 15 million miles away, but it has a very high magnetic attraction. It's going to have a gravitronic effect. It's going to cause the shifting of the Earth's crust. It's going to cause major volcanic activity. It's going to cause tidal waves. And when a pole shift happens, the ocean literally comes up out of its basin. So you're going to have major weather changes, seismic activity, and volcanic eruptions. Probably at that point, Yellowstone, the Yellowstone super caldera will likely erupt. That could affect up to a third of the United States, cover it with ash. Right now you've got unexplained sinkholes, bizarre weather. So we've seen these core changes, and of course the cover story, the legend that we're given by Al Gore and those types is global warming. Well, of course that's just a total story, and it makes absolutely no logical or deductive sense.
So global warming is just the cover story for the difference in our atmosphere, oceanic activity, and weather that we've been experiencing over the last 20 years that's actually the result of Nibiru being so close to us. The fish dying, those massive fish, when you see like thousands and thousands of fish have just mysteriously died.
Yeah.
It's because the ocean heated up too much at that one point. Because
Nibiru?
Nibiru. When you see a whale washed up on the beach, that whale died. You know why? Nibiru.
I knew it.
When it floods, when it flooded in Nashville in 2010, that historic 100-year flood, because it happened 100 years earlier, that historic flood in Nashville, not a 100-year flood.
A Nibiru flood?
It was a Nibiru flood.
Wow. So I'm going to play devil's advocate here.
Go ahead.
We talked of last week, scientifically, we're due almost any time now for a sixth mass extinction.
Yeah.
I keep bringing that up for a reason. Scientifically, that will come up again and happen. The question is, when that does come up, will the people laugh about it in the way we are now? I mean, honestly, really,
I'm laughing because I'm so scared.
Is that what it is?
I mean,
honestly, I'm not saying Nibiru is the one that's going to take us down, but if there is a time even 5,000 years from now, there's a thing to take us down, will people be laughing like, oh, it's this huge meteorite's hailing towards our Earth, okay. And then 2 days later, they're in ashes.
Yeah, I know. I'll be laughing all the way to the grave.
Yeah.
Here's the thing.
I'm not saying it's real. I'm just saying.
No. But you're absolutely right, though. Yeah. And everything that we've talked about, something like this is probably the most likely to be real.
Yeah.
Here's where I have a problem with it. Planet X, Nibiru, nothing new. People have been saying it's going to hit Earth since the 1980s. Mm-hmm. In 2003, there was a huge doomsday theory that that's when Planet X would actually pass by Earth and end all life as we know it. Didn't happen. Then everybody got on board the Mayan 2012 train and speculation started. Well, maybe the Mayans knew that that's when Planet X would actually come back in its huge oblong rotation, would actually come back towards Earth. And that's why in 2012, the Mayans believe it'll wipe out all life as we know it. Didn't happen.
Now, is David Mead a high-ranking scientific official? Because they have these calculations of down to the month.
I don't know.
What
I'd
year?
say I couldn't. I need to research him more to see what his credentials actually are.
The fact that he's kind of proclaiming that date seems pretty precise.
Is supposed to be a scientist of some sort who worked at the Pentagon. Apparently.
Wow.
I don't know. Well, this caught the attention of one of our favorite people in the world, Adam.
Yeah, who's that?
Recently. He ignored it for so long.
Is it ODD?
But no, much better than that. But recently, this guy has jumped on board the Planet X train.
And now men want to ask me why I'm not into the playoffs this weekend. I'm sorry. I'm so busy covering the incredible hardcore news.
Wow. He was serious, wasn't he?
And Alex Jones, exactly what is that hardcore news you've been covering?
And then I started reading deeper into this planet, and there it was, a 20,000-year deformed orbit going out into deep space, 10 times the size of the Earth. It is Planet X, folks. Isn't that just perfect that this would just show up while all this circus is going on?
So there it is. Alex Jones believes it. You should too.
Yeah. Official press member of the White House right now, right? I believe InfoWars. I'm pretty sure.
InfoWars now in the press briefings?
I'm 98% sure that is.
Were they there at Mar-a-Lago?
I don't know.
When Trump talked about his bombing campaign?
Possible. Yeah.
So there you have it, the theory of Planet X. Now let's go back to the double suns. Could be Nibiru. Could be Nemesis. Could be Planet X. Or it could be a weird phenomenon that happens on occasion where all the elements in the atmosphere, they kind of blob together in one spot and create this optical illusion where the light of the sun in the horizon is actually refracted, and it gives the appearance of a reflection. And that's why sometimes you'll see two suns that appear to be side by side. Usually it's one and one below it. And in that particular video from Halifax, it looks like three suns.
Right, yeah.
So could just be a weird atmospheric phenomenon.
Yeah, I'm no scientist, but I understand how light refraction works.
Right.
You just get a cup of, like a clear glass of water, put a plastic straw in there, and what you see in the top of the straw to underneath the actual water looks like two separate straws broken in half.
Right.
At different angles coming in. It's one full straw, but the water makes it refract itself like that. So maybe the same idea? Maybe?
Yeah. That seems to be the going theory.
Yeah.
Of when it is strange, but not that uncommon.
Yeah.
And has been happening since the sun's been coming up through the horizon.
I'm just saying, how long can wolf be cried? That's all I'm saying. I'm not saying this is the end of us all here. I don't believe it for 1 second, but eventually when it is the end, will there be naysayers?
Will me and you just be, this is so, we're not going to make it to 500 episodes.
Oh, man.
But I will make it to DragonCon.
Yeah, you will, maybe. It says September or October.
Well, September 23rd.
Oh, he said the actual date.
Is what...
That's right before my birthday.
Is what...
Man.
You remember the last time we talked about the world ending, it was right before your birthday.
Really?
Yeah.
Always is.
Did it happen?
No.
So anything else you want to add?
No, I want to go deeper into the Alex Jones stuff here.
Which part?
All the Planet X stuff. I want to see, because he, without a doubt, I believe, for the most part, nothing he says, but I also understand he's very knowledgeable of what he does spew. Whether he believes it or not, he knows it all up and down, top to bottom. And I find him very entertaining. Not for information or knowledge or news, but as a fictional show, I rather enjoy him.
Well, let's do this. Since apparently the world is ending from Planet X this fall, we should revisit Planet X between now and the fall.
I like that.
See what Alex Jones is saying about it.
Yeah, we'll do that.
See what news stories
the
are
week
out there.
of September 23rd, we'll have to do a countdown to Planet X.
We're going to do a live version of Pod Casserole.
Yeah. Let's do it.
At the end of the world.
There's a gym chain called Planet X Fitness, right?
Yeah, I think so.
They should have a promo going right now.
I thought it was just Planet Fitness.
Is it Planet? I thought it's. Oh, wow. Well, we're going to create Planet X Fitness. That's what we're doing.
So there you go.
Wow.
It's this week in NWO News. Coming up, our favorite film characters of the 1980s.
Next.
To the fallout, baby, when they drop that bomb. Crawl out through the fallout with the greatest of aplomb. When your white count's getting higher.
The Avengers Assemble podcast from White Rocket Entertainment. Creator and fan interviews and discussion about Marvel's Avengers comics, movies, and everything else. From Van Allen Plexico and the Jarvis heads of AvengersAssemble.net, creators of the best-selling Assembled books and the most fanatical Avengers fans on the face of the earth.
And when you're bent over, moaning and wailing, you lick your palms. It's a little childish and stupid, but then so is high school. Life moves pretty fast. If you don't stop and look around once in a while, you could miss it.
Ferris Bueller's Day Off. That is not only one of my favorite characters of the 1980s, but also one of my favorite movies of the 1980s.
It's a fantastic movie. When was it a few years ago? They had a teaser for a comeback of that, and I was so excited.
It was just a Super Bowl commercial.
I thought
right?
it was a movie. Yeah, for a while, like a few seconds, I thought it was the remake of the movie, or like a new installment of it. I was so pumped. I was ready for it.
Domino's is doing that now.
Oh yeah,
with the pretty boy, rich kid from Stranger Things.
Oh yeah, see, I haven't seen that. You told me about it.
Yeah.
Like
he's basically the Ferris Bueller character, and there's a series of Domino's commercials that are based on scenes from Ferris Bueller's Day Off.
That's funny.
And Cameron's even in one of them.
Really?
Yeah,
I haven't seen that yet.
Yeah,
got to see that.
When he's running alongside the car, and in the movie it's his dad. It's Ferris's dad. In the commercial, it's Cameron.
Really?
Actually driving the car.
I've got to see that.
Yeah. What is it about Matthew Broderick's what he brought to Ferris Bueller that makes him such a memorable character?
I'm not sure, but that role was made for Matthew Broderick because I mean, honestly,
certainly not Godzilla.
Yeah, I mean, I can't think of any other movie I like him in. Honestly, I'll say it right now.
Cable Guy.
Yeah, exactly. That's not my no.
You don't like Cable Guy?
No, I love the movie,
Oh, okay.
but his character is. I mean, it's just so throwaway.
Yeah.
The Freshman, gross. You know what I mean? Every movie I can think of him in, just kind of there.
It's not Ferris Bueller's
But
Day
he
Off.
is, like, I think that he was just perfect for that role. He is, I don't even know if he's acting. He is that character.
And maybe a little of that.
Yeah.
Maybe a little bit of Broderick in the Ferris Bueller character.
It's possible, yeah.
Is that certainly my favorite character from Ferris Bueller's Day Off is Ferris Bueller.
Yeah.
But I think the principal would be a close second.
Rooney is good.
Rooney.
He's on the phone with his assistant. He's trying to do this. Oh, that's good.
Oh, I need to go back and watch that movie
Same
again.
here.
It's been a while since I've seen Ferris Bueller's Day Off.
It's a really good movie.
Who's next on your list?
So I'm not a huge fan of the movie, but I've got to say, as far as icons and memorable characters, E.T. has to make the list. 1982 by Spielberg. It's just classic. One of my favorite memories at Universal is on that ride. Or was that MGM? That was Universal, right?
That's interesting because when we did the 70s, you had the Jaws from, or the shark from Jaws,
right,
on your list.
Yeah,
and now you've gone with another.
I know. Spielberg not
animatronic / puppet.
Yeah,
character. Well, E.T. does talk a little.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, just phone home pretty much.
Ouch.
Yeah, that too.
I recently watched E.T. And enjoyed it way more than I thought I would.
It's been at least 20 years since I've seen it. I should watch it again.
Because I didn't see it for years and years and years. And even when I saw it as a kid, I was like, oh, I was never really on board the E.T. train. Woo, woo.
Same here, yeah.
And then when I watched it recently, I don't know, maybe there's just something whimsical about it that I really enjoyed watching E.T. Within the last 6 weeks.
But it's a sad ending. I don't want to see that again.
It's not that sad.
It's pretty sad.
He goes home.
That's sad.
He goes home.
Hell yeah. It's still so sad, but as far as iconic and memorable characters, you can't deny.
And Neil Diamond wrote a song about him.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Turn on your hot light in the middle of a young boy's dream. Don't wake me up too soon. Gonna take a ride across the moon.
Heartlight.
I'll see that live very soon. In a few short weeks, I'll see him live. Are you excited? I'm excited about that. Kind of.
Turn on your heartlight.
I'll let you know how that goes.
Next on my list, I'm going to go with Jack Torrance from The Shining.
Yeah.
As portrayed by Jack Nicholson.
Right.
Man, has there ever been a role made more for an actor than Jack Nicholson in The Shining?
No, I don't think so. It was perfect.
Have you ever seen any of the behind the stuff? Like him getting into character?
Yeah.
Like there's a behind the scenes video that was going around not too long ago, and it was him getting himself psyched up for the axe scene.
Yeah.
And he's like jumping in place, and he almost actually hits Shelley Duvall with the axe while he's practicing it.
Yeah. Have you seen, not to go off topic here, but have you seen her recently?
Oh, she has.
Yo, man. Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Shelley.
That'll be coming up in NWO news very soon.
Probably so.
Shelley Duvall in 2017.
Yeah. But, that's a fantastic character and role. And it's, once again, iconic.
A little pop culture reference with Here's Johnny.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
One of my favorite Stephen King adaptations.
That's a good one.
Is that version of The Shining.
Even the remake of the made-for-TV movie with the guy from Wings.
Yeah. Who was also in a movie in the early 90s about an execution. He played a prisoner that was wrongfully convicted, but it was supposed to be set in the future, like which would be like the mid-2000s or late 2000s or like 2010. And it was going to be the first ever execution broadcast on live TV on pay-per-view.
What?
And he played the prisoner.
That's a lot of things.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Wow.
That has nothing to do with Jack Nicholson in The Shining.
Not at all.
Maybe roughly tied
it's
into it.
a separation.
But that's got to
degrees.
be one of the most iconic characters from the early 80s.
Yeah, he's amazing. I'll stick with the horror idea here. And we can't speak of horror without talking about Jason Voorhees from Friday the 13th. Comes out 1980. Iconic character, hockey mask. You wear that. You buy a 50-cent hockey mask at Kmart around Halloween season, and you have an instant Jason Voorhees costume. Is that not iconic?
It is iconic.
The hockey mask doesn't mean hockey anymore. It means Jason Voorhees.
I can't. That's true. At least that version of a hockey mask,
right,
which looks nothing like hockey mask today. I'm not as much on board with this one as I was with Michael Myers in the 70s.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, you're right, though. I mean, when you think of 1980s horror, there's 3-4 names that come to mind.
Yeah.
And Jason Voorhees is definitely one
he
of
was
them.
the ultimate boogeyman, kind of a justified boogeyman. Like it was kind of the boogeyman back then, as if you did bad things, Jason would come for you. Only if you had premarital sex or smoked drugs or drank alcohol would Jason come for you, because that's who he fought.
And maybe that's why I don't get on board, because I think there's more history with the Michael Myers character.
Yeah.
And so through that, at least that first Halloween movie, you feel like you know Michael Myers a little bit, whereas the backstory of Jason Voorhees doesn't seem to be as rich as he just drowned at a camp and then came back.
Yeah. I've always had...
But you're right. I mean, you're right that when you think 1980s horror, you think Jason Voorhees.
Yeah, I've always had... I mean, we know and love Jason Voorhees as the grown-up, muscle-bound, algae-filled demon walking the earth as we know,
which, by the way, was my first AOL screen name. Algae-filled demon.
As the story goes, he died as a child, so his body theoretically should stop growing physically at that point, and we should have that creepy little Ari Lehman guy walking around. But the Jason Voorhees we know and fear is a big muscle-bound Kane Hodder.
Yeah,
and I love that character in the franchise, but never understood how he kept growing. I mean, it doesn't make any sense.
Well, I mean, demonic possession.
I guess. I mean, as far
it's
as like
a hell of a drug,
it ages him. It's just an age thing. It's weird to me.
Well, that's 2 decades that we've got a Jason reference.
That's true. Yeah. Was there another one?
No. It was before we did the countdown last week. Yeah. Sorry.
Yeah.
I was going to say maybe we'll get one in the 90s. There was at least one Friday the 13th in the 90s, right?
Oh yeah.
Or a couple.
Yeah.
I'm gonna do a couple of characters here, and feel free to jump on the bandwagon here.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go to the film Back to the Future.
Okay. Yeah.
And the character of Doc Brown from Back to the Future.
Welcome to my latest experiment. This is the big one, the one I've been waiting for all my life.
Well, it's a DeLorean, right?
Bear with me, Marty. All your questions will be answered. Roll tape.
Okay,
and we'll proceed.
Doc, is that a Devo?
Never mind that now. Not now. My calculations are correct. When this baby hits 88 miles per hour, you're gonna see some serious shit.
I agree with that, but you have him before the main character. You're not a fan of main characters in movies, are you?
Well, if there's other characters in the film that I may like more than the main character.
You like him more than Marty?
Oh, I love Doc Brown more than Marty.
I mean, Marty's on my list as well. So at least we have both main characters, if there are two.
Doc and Marty.
Yeah.
Which Marty's good. And you know, Michael J. Fox is fun in that movie, but the character is Doc Brown.
Yeah.
I mean, you could put Eric Stoltz.
And it wouldn't be good. And it would not be good.
No, it wouldn't. There was a great chemistry between those two. But I think the character really goes with Doc Brown, the character of Doc Brown in Back to the Future, and also the villain of the Back to the Future trilogy, Biff Tannen.
You did Biff and Tannen Brown over Marty McFly.
Yes. Wow. Biff Tannen is one of my favorite characters from 1980s.
Wow, really?
Yeah.
I mean, he's funny. He's good villain.
Yeah. Butthead. Who are you looking at, Butthead?
But once again, I think of that physical icon status. You can dress up like Doc Brown. Dress up like Marty McFly. Could you dress up as Biff Tannen as a costume? That would be almost impossible to do. Almost impossible.
What about Mad Dog Tannen from Back to the Future 3?
You're just a cowboy at that point. That's all you are.
Oh, I just realized that entire trilogy spans the 80s.
Yeah, it does, yeah.
Yeah, because the last, wait a minute. Was
I think
it 90?
90
is when Back to the Future 3
Yeah, it was every 3
out.
years, I believe. So.
But Back to the Future and Back to the Future 2 was 85 and 89.
Yeah.
The fall of 89.
So, wow, yeah, okay, it was. Yeah, because the third one was only 1 year after part 2, huh?
Well, 85.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, no. It wasn't even a year.
Wow.
When you went to see Back to the Future 2, they shot them at the same time.
Oh, wow, I didn't know that.
So when around Thanksgiving of 1989, when you went to see Back to the Future 2, you stuck around, the credits rolled, and you got a preview of Back to the Future 3.
Wow.
That was a summer movie. It came out that May.
That's so weird because
May
I
of
love
90.
2 but hate 3. That's so weird to me.
See, I was very disappointed in 2 when I went to see it.
Really? That's still my favorite one.
I was like, like lifelong fan of Back to the Future and super psyched for Back to the Future 2. And I just felt a little let down.
Really?
Much like Ghostbusters 2.
You're a hater of sequels. I've noticed that.
Maybe. But being such a big Doc Brown fan, I kind of like Back to the Future Part 3. Yeah.
I still don't like it. Still don't like it.
And it's got ZZ Top in it.
That's true. And the kid pointing to his crotch.
Yeah.
Forgot about At the very end, yeah.
So there you go. My favorite two characters from Back to the Future, Doc Brown and Biff Tannen. I do love in the second one they played into the Biff Tannen can never get jokes right.
Oh, yeah.
It's as funny as a screen door on a battleship. So why don't you make like a tree and get out of here?
That was pretty funny. Right in the middle of the 80s, from 1985, an iconic movie came out for kids of that era called The Goonies. And some would say there's a whole ensemble cast there, but to me, when you think Goonies, you think John Matuszak as the role of Sloth. And that classic character, the Baby Ruth loving, almost Toxic Crusader style Sloth. With the
Sloth
Superman
loves
shirt.
Chunk.
I love that character so much. I mean, once again, iconic. You see that, you know who Sloth is.
That's true.
That's a great character.
Yeah, that is a great movie and a great character.
The first few seconds you see him, you think he's the main villain, this terrible entity to not even mess around with. But as soon you know he's a kind, gentle, child-loving beast.
Yeah.
He isn't a great character.
And he killed the idea of wearing Superman T-shirts for 25 years.
Right, yeah.
It wouldn't be cool for 25 years.
Yeah, exactly.
Can you do the Truffle Shuffle right now?
That's quite all right.
Please?
You don't want that. I've always teased. I've always wanted to be Sloth at DragonCon one year. It's going to happen.
You can do it.
It's tough. Do your own research there. It's tough to find a quality-looking Sloth mask.
That's why I had to do Deddy Krueger instead of Freddy Krueger.
Right.
I couldn't find a good Freddy Krueger
You could
mask.
for a few $100.
Well, yeah. How about a reasonably priced good Freddy Krueger
mask? Yeah, but
mask?
Sloth, even the more expensive Sloth masks are still kind of bad.
I can go with that.
I like some Sloth.
I think as far as those teen action adventure movies in the 80s.
Yeah.
Quotable,
memorable.
I could definitely go with Sloth as being like the best character from the Goonies.
Yeah.
This will be a good time now to just go through a laundry list of names that played great memorable characters that were always kind of the same memorable character.
Okay, yeah.
Molly Ringwald,
right?
Ali Sheedy,
any Brad Packer,
Charlie Sheen,
Judd Nelson,
Emilio Estevez, Robert Downey Jr.
Well, you can just say the Brat Pack pretty much, right?
Yeah,
yeah.
John Cusack.
What's the three-named guy? Hit me with it. 16 Candles.
C. Thomas Howell.
No, the other three-named guy.
Patrick something Dempsey
from Dead Zone. Keep going. I'm gonna look it up.
Oh,
someone's screaming at me right now.
That's weird that you've got that on there because I have a Dead Zone character on my list.
Really?
Yeah,
that's funny.
That's great. You brought that up. Well, he was from the Dead Zone TV show.
Right? Yeah.
That was C. Thomas Howell.
No. That was Anthony Michael Hall.
Anthony Michael Hall.
There we go.
Yeah,
I knew a three-namer. I knew it.
So all those great characters from the 1980s.
Yeah.
But it would be nearly impossible to go unless you were going to isolate a couple of John Cusack characters.
We could have a Brat Pack episode in the future. I think we should.
Oh, we could.
Yeah, let's do that.
And then we just spend a week watching Brat Pack.
That's not a bad way to go. Whenever Planet X comes around.
That's how we...
We're in the middle of 16 Candles.
Well, yes.
And the panty auction scene. No, this is not how it's supposed to end.
I don't want to close my eyes. Who's next on your list?
For a long time, I held out from seeing this movie. I thought I would have no connection to it because I'm not a big fan of like the mobster and the crime movies. But you can't deny that Scarface is a huge icon in cinema. You can't deny that.
Tony Montana.
Yeah, 1983 Scarface. It was just a classic movie. I mean, even so today in video games, not today, that was over 10 years ago, but the Grand Theft Auto series sometimes steals heavily from that movie right there. So Scarface, everyone knows it, and I love it, and it's fantastic.
Okay. Do you want to play rough? Okay. No. Say hello to my little friend.
Al Pacino definitely created something that made a connection with society that was long-lasting. Because you're absolutely right. To this day, you still get Scarface references.
Once again, directed by Brian De Palma.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't see that.
Did you watch that with him
I
too?
did not. No, I did not.
Michelle Pfeiffer is pretty good in that.
Yeah.
Fantastic character. In a fantastic movie.
Right.
Good call.
Very well done.
I'm going to go to a John Belushi character. And Jake Blues.
Nice.
From the original Blues Brothers.
Please don't kill us. You know I love you, baby. I wouldn't leave you. It wasn't my fault.
You miserable slug. You think you can talk your way out of this? You betrayed me.
No, I didn't. Honest. I ran out of gas. I had a flat tire. I didn't have enough money for cab fare. My tux didn't come back from the cleaners. An old friend came in from out of town. Someone stole my car. There was an earthquake. A terrible flood. Locust. It wasn't my fault, I swear to God!
And I think this is a little bit of bias.
Yeah.
Because as I try to make the argument why Jake Blues should be on a list of iconic characters, but then I realized, no, it's just our favorite film characters from the 1980s.
Kind of goes hand in hand.
And I love Jake Blues.
I think he's iconic. Once again, for me, you've got to have a costume. If you put the costume on, you know who that character is. That's iconic and memorable, and he, without a doubt, is one of those characters.
And
that or a Man in Black agent.
To solidify, yeah, that's true. To solidify that argument of how long-lasting that character is, 2017, went to my niece's high school. They don't do a high school drama. They do something called Great Pretenders, which is just a series of sketches, and it can be from anything from YouTube videos to music videos to songs. And I went this past weekend, and there was a Blues Brothers sketch. The high school kids from 2017 doing a Blues Brothers sketch on stage for that.
Wow.
And you know what song it was?
What's that?
Shake Your Tail Feather.
Really? That's funny.
Yeah. And so when I saw it, I was like, oh, Adam and I were just talking about this song a couple of weeks ago.
That ties in well.
So I'm going to go with Jake. I mean, Elwood is, you might even say Elwood is more of the character.
Yeah.
But I always like Jake more than Elwood. Maybe that's because I was shaped like Jake.
But now you're an Elwood now.
I think I'm still pretty much a Jake.
Have you seen Elwood recently? I don't know.
That's true. Maybe I am an Elwood.
Yes. That's what I'm saying. A 2017 Elwood.
I am a 2017 Elwood.
I'm going to go a little more not so lively, but a movie I loved as a kid. I was big into robots, good or bad.
Robotix.
No Robotix. In 1986, a movie called Short Circuit comes out, and Johnny Five to me is iconic. Even though Gutenberg was in there, Johnny Five steals the show.
Johnny Five was almost on my list.
Really? Yeah,
but then I went with a weird pick. I'll do next. I'll do my next weird pick for you.
But I mean, it's hard. Especially 30 plus years ago, to have this non-live action, like not a real human actor, to portray that kind of emotion. And Johnny Five does that, especially in the sequel, and he gets beaten up, almost dies. I mean, there were actual legit little kid tears from me. From the Johnny Five character. I still love him so.
Lightning strikes a bunch of robots.
Yeah.
Johnny Five comes alive.
Yeah. They're basically military-style combat robots meant for just to be used for war. And like you said, lightning strikes him. He has real, true emotions, kind of glitches out, and Johnny Five is released to the world.
Secret government military operation.
Yeah.
Headed up by the dad from Alf.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah.
And then Johnny Five escapes and finds Ali Sheedy.
Yeah.
And then Steve Gutenberg is the kind-hearted scientist.
Yeah.
Looking for him.
Not from Concentrate. Love it so much. Good series. Check out some Short Circuit.
Well, then I'll go with the next one on my list is a character portrayed by Howie Mandel. Do you know who I'm talking about?
Maybe.
Howie Mandel did the voice of Gizmo.
Okay.
From the original Gremlins movie. He probably did the sequel, too.
I gotcha. Yeah.
But I know that was Howie Mandel.
Right.
Doing the voice of Gizmo.
I thought you were going for the monster movie with Fred Savage.
No. But, no.
That is a great movie, though. I'll stand by it.
Okay. Maybe not as much as Gremlins, though. Maybe not as much. Maybe not as memorable as Gizmo.
Yeah, agreed.
Because, you see anything about the 1980s movies, Gizmo's going to pop up somewhere.
Yeah.
And Gremlins. And I think it was... And Gizmo didn't even speak that much. But he did have this kind of likable quality to his voice. And, of course, that was Howie Mandel.
Yeah.
You know who else did did some of the voice work of some of the other Mogwai?
Who's that?
Peter Cullen.
Really?
That's right.
That makes sense.
The voice of Optimus Prime.
Yeah.
Was also some of the Mogwai voices in the original Gremlins.
That's pretty cool.
But yeah, Gizmo. I love him.
Yeah.
He's on my list.
Iconic for sure. What if I gave you the name from 1988? And the character's name is Charles Lee Ray, a serial killer that transports his body to a small doll by the name of Chucky. That's right, from Child's Play 1988, voiced and even in live action acted out by Brad Dourif as the character the actor who plays that character. We've had a lot of horror characters in these lists, but Chucky, very iconic, very memorable, very, very fun.
Really?
Yeah.
Chucky?
Yeah.
On your list of your favorites?
Yeah.
But you don't even like Child's Play that much.
I don't necessarily, but as far as... it's memorable. I will never, ever, ever, ever forget Chucky. To me, that stands out.
So when we get to the 90s, is what's her name going to be on your list?
Who's that?
The Bride of Chucky?
No, not at all. See, I don't like that.
No. I almost said Marissa Tomei. It's not Marissa Tomei.
I forgot her name now. But yeah, she will not be on there.
Rosie Perez.
No, Rosie.
It's not Rosie Perez either.
It's fine. It's not trivia. We don't have to know every answer.
That's true. You're right.
Yeah, but
so Chucky.
Yeah, Chucky. Did you know Don Mancini wrote that first Child's Play movie and created the character of Chucky? And every single installment since then, he has written every single one of those movies. I
didn't know that.
They even have one coming out very soon again. Another one.
Yeah. Well, apparently the last one was pretty good.
Great. Curse of Chucky was awesome. Straight to video, but it was great.
Yeah.
It was awesome.
Better than in the stuff. Seed of Chucky.
Yeah, Brides and Seeds can go away, but Don Mancini is it's very seldom, maybe if not ever, has usually the people that create these characters, one, maybe two installments, and they leave for other things, like a John Carpenter or a Sean Cunningham or even a Wes Craven with Freddy Krueger. But this person stayed with this character from the get-go, and that's memorable. That's all I'm saying. Chucky belongs on an iconic or great characters from the 80s. I believe it.
One of your favorites.
Yeah. As far as character, yeah.
I believe you.
Movies, not so much, but I think he's a fun character.
Hey. It's your list. I'm going to go with perhaps a more memorable character from the 1980s.
Yeah.
When you think action-adventure of the 80s, when you think action-adventure franchises, this is one of the biggies. Of course, Harrison Ford is Dr. Indiana Jones in Raiders of the Lost Ark.
So the first time we have a recurring actor on your list.
That's right.
Yeah.
Harrison Ford made it for Han Solo.
Yeah.
Or Han.
I think it's Han.
Han. I've always said Han.
Yeah, unless you're a Lendo guy. I know it's bothering you, but it just came to me. Jennifer Tilly.
Jennifer Tilly, thank you.
That was really bothering you.
That really was. It really, really was. Jennifer Tilly was the Bride of Chucky.
Yeah, yeah.
Indiana Jones, come on.
Yeah.
The whip, the hat, the attitude. Man, the Nazis.
Relevant. Whole package.
The quest for the Grail is not archaeology. It's a race against evil. If it is captured by the Nazis, the armies of darkness will march all over the face of the earth. Do you understand me?
This is an obsession, Dad. I never understood it. Never. Neither did Mom.
I just love Indiana Jones.
Yeah.
If there is one character that in my youth I might have pretended to be when I would, be on the farm playing by myself.
Yeah.
Talking to myself, basically, it was Indiana Jones. Doing lines. Probably Indiana Jones or Marty McFly, actually, which is weird now that I think about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Understandably.
But yeah, I love Indiana Jones.
Nothing wrong with that. Iconic. It's an icon.
You've never seen one Raiders movie.
I'm still aware it's an icon.
Yeah.
And once again, I like the character, not saw the movie. I don't like the actor. Can't stand him. But the character's good.
Oh.
I'm going to have my first double injection here on this list. And that is from 1989. We have Alex Winter and Keanu Reeves come to our screens with Bill and Ted and their excellent adventure. We love this. I mean, George Carlin as Rufus, the Wild Stallions band they went on to have, in my opinion, a great sequel. Most people would not agree with that. But we can all say
it's an acquired taste.
Then Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure, and just that icon status of those two on screen, it was fun. It was a fun time. That was the pre-Wayne's World. To me, they're in the same vein of like two best friends. Rock mentality is just having a good time. I love Bill and Ted.
Bill, Ted, this is really quite simple. Unless you get an A+ on your final oral report tomorrow, I have no choice but to flunk the both of you.
Two epic airheads.
Who is Joan of Arc?
Noah's wife? We're in danger of flunking most heinously tomorrow, Ted.
One time traveling telephone booth.
Strange things are afoot at the Circle K.
Who do you think is the better character, Bill or Ted?
Bill, for sure. I think so.
That's Alex Winter.
Yeah.
Most would say Ted, I think.
You think so?
I think Keanu is the one that...
Really?
Yeah.
I like Bill's Esquire.
But I guess if there's a downside is Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure kind of set up what most people would consider to be the Keanu Reeves character.
Right, yeah.
Going forward.
Yeah. The surfer dude.
Be it
like
Point Break or...
Speed or Matrix.
Speed, yeah.
I know Kung Fu.
Whoa. But I gotta tell you, John Wick... Not like that.
I have to see that movie. Yeah. Everyone tells me I would love it.
And, he's done many other films where it wasn't like that.
Yeah.
But it does seem to be what they like to tap into.
Yeah.
And there's rumors that we're going to get a Bill and Ted 3.
That's true. I mean, to this day, it's still supposed to happen. The script is made.
If you're ready to see 50-year-old Bill and Ted hanging out at the Circle K...
I would love that. They said, by the way, Rufus will not be recast. They'll just speak of him in past terms.
Yeah.
No George Carlin, of course.
Was he in the second one?
Yeah. Well, I think for a little bit. I could be wrong.
Yeah, I can't remember.
I think for just a little bit.
I think you're right. I think he was briefly in the second one.
Yeah.
But he had to get that in between filming Shining Time Station.
Right. Yeah. But, I mean, I love Bill and Ted. Even the cartoon was good.
Bill and Ted almost made my list.
Yeah.
Here's one you're going to laugh at me for.
Okay.
If I told you one of my favorite characters from the 1980s movies was John Keating, would you know who that is?
No.
Robin Williams from Dead Poets Society.
Wow, okay.
My captain, my captain.
See, is he memorable or iconic if I don't even know his name? I can say one word. I can say Jason. You know who I'm talking about. But you give me his first and last name, I have no idea what you're saying.
I just don't think Dead Poets Society is your kind of movie.
That's definitely not.
Yeah.
I was forced to watch it as a kid.
But I think if it is your kind of movie, then you definitely would agree with that character being one of the best characters from the late 80s, at least. And this was like one of the first movies I remember, Robin Williams movies I remember seeing, like actually going to a theater and watching that wasn't all comedy. Maybe Good Morning Vietnam, but there was a lot of funny stuff in Good Morning Vietnam. The humor is a little more in Dead Poets Society. It's there briefly, but it's really played down instead of played up.
Yeah.
But just, this teacher that inspires entire class, then in a time when thinking outside of the box was, not what you should be doing in a super conservative setting like that. I think this is a great role and a great movie. I'll stand by that.
Stand by it.
Yeah.
We've spoken a lot of horror icons, and that will continue soon, but I want to kind of go away from that for a bit. Still talk about horror movies, but we've always talked about the bad guy, the villain, the Jason Voorhees, the Leatherface.
Razor Ramon?
The people that kill people and get away with it, and we root for them in that regard. So why not, for once, have an iconic character that is killing the bad guys, like Ash Williams in 1981's Evil Dead.
That was going to be the next one I did. That's great.
I mean, come on. To this day, we have a pretty awesomely and well-made show based on this character still. I mean, 36 years later, it's still happening.
The Evil Dead and Evil Dead 2 both came out in the 80s.
Right, yeah.
I love Ash Williams.
I mean, man,
Slashy Ashy,
yeah,
Ashy Slashy.
At first, we meet him; he's kind of a wimpy little character. But as Evil Dead 2 and Army of Darkness progresses, he becomes and evolves this ultimate badass we know and love today. And Ash Williams, iconic to the max.
Yeah, I think like we talked about when we did our movies of '93. Perhaps the lasting impact of Ash Williams is kind of given to you in Army of Darkness. but the table is definitely set with the Evil Dead and Evil Dead 2.
Yeah, for sure. And I want to watch. Aren't those on a Blu-ray release now? The actual show on Stars.
Oh, Ash vs. Evil Dead.
Yeah. I think
so.
I need to buy those.
Yeah, they're really good.
Yeah,
I really enjoyed the second season.
Yeah,
it was a lot of fun.
Just that first episode, I was sold for sure.
The rest of the first season is it's hit or miss, but that second season is pretty much consistently good.
Really,
I thought. Well, hey, I'll do a villain on my list next. 1988, Die Hard would be nothing I say without Alan Rickman as Hans Gruber. I think Alan Rickman did as much for that movie as Bruce Willis did as John McClane.
I agree.
Yeah. That Eurotrash villain. He's just a lot of fun to watch.
He's a great actor in general.
Yeah,
I mean, really,
that's true.
I think Rickman could be on multiple things here. He could be on multiple characters.
He was the redeeming quality. You're right. Well, no, it was a 90s movie. That was 1991. I was going to say he was the redeeming quality in Robin Hood.
Right.
I'll cut your heart out with a spoon. Why a spoon? Because it will hurt more. Has he ever done a role that wasn't good? At least what his portrayal of it.
No. Even in Dogma, which could have easily been a bad role for him, was done amazingly well.
And Snape?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
And for me, it all started with Now I Have a Machine Gun. Ho, ho.
I'm going to stick with horror. I'm going to finish out the horror thing here. I guess this is the last horror. Yeah, it's the last horror one. And we can't talk about horror and not talk about 1984's A Nightmare on Elm Street and speak of Freddy Krueger. I mean, Robert Englund himself has made this character in everyone's nightmares and dreams last forever. You can't deny that.
You are all my children now. I'm your boyfriend now, Nancy. Wanna suck the face?
No.
Let's get high.
To kind of piggyback what you've been saying, and when you think Freddy Krueger, there is a certain look that you can think of.
Yeah.
And that does make him historical.
I mean, people can't wear red and green sweaters anymore without being called a Freddy Krueger sweater.
It's true.
I mean, it's affected everyday wear.
And when I was a kid, that's all I had. And for some reason, my parents made me wear a fedora to school.
Nice little glove.
Yeah. Don't forget your glove.
Yeah. And what else can we say about Freddy? Everyone knows who that is. It's a great character.
He's fun. He's fun to watch too.
Yeah.
The best villains are the ones that are fun to watch.
Yep. Agreed.
And it's fun to watch Freddy Krueger do his thing.
Yeah.
You knew this would be on my list. This is probably why it hasn't come up on your list yet.
Yeah.
Dr. Peter Venkman.
Yep, he was actually. That's why I hesitated last choice because he was next on the list, and I went down to the Freddy Krueger selection.
From Ghostbusters, the original Ghostbusters.
Mm-hmm.
Dr. Peter Venkman, played by Bill Murray, my favorite character from that movie.
Yeah, I think most people would say that, as they should.
Not you.
Well, I'm an Egon guy.
Yeah,
but I mean, as far as just comedy timing, it's going to be Bill Murray.
Tell you what, I'll take Miss Barrett back to her apartment and check her out. I'll go check out Miss Barrett's apartment. Okay?
Okay.
The rise and fall of Bill Murray in that one movie. No, I know. I'll take it back. The fall was What About Bob?
You don't like What About Bob?
No, that's the after that. It's like that's the fall. The beginning of the end, right there.
Okay. Well, Groundhog Day was after What About Bob?
Was it
right?
really? I mean,
right? Maybe not.
It was around that.
Can't remember. It was all in the early 90s.
Yeah, it was all a blur.
Yeah, you're right, though. I mean, by the time he did Ghostbusters, he was kind of firing on all the cylinders.
Yeah.
There's not much dialogue that he gives in that movie that's not quotable at some level.
Yeah.
Thus making him one of the greatest film characters of the 1980s.
Agreed. I can't take away from that. Speaking of quotable characters, imagine a almost 2-hour-long movie and a character being on screen for less than 15 minutes total, but yet everyone knows him and can almost quote every single line, such as 1988 with Beetlejuice and Michael Keaton. I mean, come on.
That's true.
That's a great character.
That is true.
I mean, every single line is golden. Every single one.
So would you say that Beetlejuice is more iconic than Batman?
Yeah.
Yeah, I would say so,
as
too.
far as that, yeah. Maybe, well...
And it just looks like Michael Keaton had more fun playing Beetlejuice.
Yeah. More people in general know Batman, of course.
Yeah.
But I think just... I
mean that version, like that film version.
Oh, yeah. I have a much more fun and more fond memories of Beetlejuice than that Batman.
You're right, though. He's not really in the movie that much.
No.
But when he is...
I think it was a combined 11 minutes. I could be wrong, but it was around 11, 12 minutes total combined is what Beetlejuice is on screen.
It's mostly about the family.
Yeah. But it's one of those things...
It's mostly about Alec Baldwin.
It's one of those Incredible Hulk things. Like Bruce Banner, whenever Hulk pops, it's special because you see him for a bit.
Yeah, I'm gonna agree with you.
Yeah.
Beetlejuice is one of the most memorable characters from the 80s. Here's a dark horse on my list. JD from Heathers.
Oh, wow.
As played by Christian Slater. I think this has to do with when I saw Heathers.
You think so?
Yeah. And just this idea of, injecting anarchy into this perfect community is exactly what that character does. Much like Mr. Robot on a different level.
Yeah.
That just occurred to me.
Yeah.
It's almost the same character.
That's funny.
Yeah. That he plays.
Yeah.
That's weird.
The Slaterverse.
That he went from JD and Heathers to Mr. Robot.
Yeah.
And it's almost like a different version of the same character.
That's funny.
That is crazy.
It's taking you back now.
Yeah. If you've never seen Heathers, and look, I'll be the first one to tell you, this looks like the 1980s.
Oh, yeah, it does. Yeah.
Maybe not Christian Slater's character so much. Maybe not so much as JD. He's kind of got a timeless look to him a little bit. But all the other characters look at a 90210.
Yeah.
But it to me, it's still a very watchable movie and would never, ever be made today.
Right.
You could never make that
Not
movie
at all.
today.
No way. No
Nope.
way.
Not the different, not just the ending of the movie, but stuff that happens throughout the movie, too. You can never do today.
So they may be stuck in the 80s, but you know a classic, timeless character that will never have any time stamped to him? What about the greatest Jedi master of all time, Yoda, from 1980, Empire Strikes Back? He is an 80s character.
Yeah.
Look at me. Judge me by my size, do you? And where you should not. For my ally is the Force. And a powerful ally it is. Life creates it. Makes it grow. Its energy surrounds us and binds us. Luminous beings are we, not this crude matter.
Once again, people know Yoda. They love Yoda.
I mean, I can't argue with the status of Yoda.
or yoga.
Or yoga in pop culture.
Yeah.
Maybe not my cup of tea.
Yeah. But I'll stand by it all day. The greatest Jedi, the most powerful and strongest Jedi Master of all time. I'll stand by it.
Maybe not my cup of Dagobah swamp water.
What we see him doing in those movies, he's hundreds of years, he's centuries past his prime. Imagine a young Yoda, 200-300 years old. Think about it.
But the Yoda stuff doesn't take you out of the movie at all.
No. It does you?
A little bit.
Really?
Yeah.
No, to me, I revert everything back to a Rocky franchise, but that is the Rocky with Mickey training scenes in there. That's what it is. You don't think of those Rocky and Mickey scenes like, man, I want more Adrian and Paulie. No, you're in that moment with Mickey. You want more Mickey time.
And so you want more Yoda.
Yeah. All about Yoda, 1980.
And here's a funny thing. This is my big beef with Yoda.
Yeah.
It slows down Empire Strikes Back to a crawl.
Think so?
Just like Miss Piggy does in every Muppet movie. So maybe I'm just not a Frank Oz fan.
Frank Oz problem.
Maybe it's an Oz problem. Who's left on? Oh, Officer Alex Murphy.
Okay.
Perhaps you know him as RoboCop.
Yeah.
From the original RoboCop, as portrayed by Peter Weller. Not really a lot to say unless you're a big fan of RoboCop.
Yeah.
And again, it takes a certain fan. It's a pretty hardcore movie.
I think most people over the age of 30 know who that is and love him.
They know RoboCop, but
if you know him only from the 2015 movie, you're not a big fan.
Yeah.
But you go back then, you think of that character, man.
But I still, even watching the original RoboCop today, that is a pretty hardcore movie.
Oh yeah, without a doubt.
It's Verhoeven as his bloodiest.
Yeah. It was pre-Showgirl, so it was rough.
It was pretty rough. But yeah, I love what Peter Weller did with Alex Murphy. He's a cop.
Yeah.
You cop.
I've always thought of that movie as if Troma if Lloyd Kaufman was giving like a $3 million budget, what he would make.
He probably would create RoboCop.
Yeah, it's like that.
And then when it's RoboCop, it's still Peter Weller in the suit.
Yeah,
at least for the first one.
Mm-hmm.
And then he didn't want to do anything after
Really?
that. Yeah.
I didn't know that.
He's not in the sequels.
Wow,
it's a different RoboCop.
I had no idea.
Yeah,
that's pretty crazy.
I think in RoboCop 2 and RoboCop 3, when he flies.
Yeah.
I don't think he ever takes his visor off.
I didn't even think about that.
Because then you would clearly see it wasn't Peter Weller.
I had no idea.
But in the first one, he'll walk around without the visor on a lot.
Yeah. Huh.
So you can see it's the same guy.
Right. Maybe not as iconic. Well, maybe the same level of icon status as RoboCop. To me, it is at least. 1985, a movie I was obsessed with was called Teen Wolf, and the character of Scott Howard. That's it. That's my double.
Two.
That's my double Michael J. dipping.
2 Michael J. Foxes.
Yeah. So I love the character Scott Howard. Teen Wolf is a great movie. The movie, doing the research, I had no idea the movie was written by Jeff Loeb of comic fame. I had no idea. No idea.
It's one of his first screenplays,
yeah,
right?
it was, yeah.
Now he's killing the DC universe.
Yes, he is.
He might have peaked with Teen Wolf.
No.
Shoot it, fat boy.
He worked on the original Heroes, like he wrote
did,
that.
which was really
Maybe
good.
that was his top.
Yeah, I'm a little hard on Jeff Loeb.
Yeah.
I should be so hard.
You think? Yeah. But I love, once again, that is a very, very desired taste, and I understand that. But I love it so, and Scott Howard's an iconic character.
But to me, like, the character from Teen Wolf is Styles.
Really?
Yeah.
You think so?
Uh-huh. Or Chubbs.
Jeez.
No, it's Styles.
Styles
I mean, he's the guy with the most character, the most charismatic.
Scott is the Teen Wolf.
Yeah, but Scott is the Teen Wolf. That's true. Once again, Eric Stoltz could have been the Teen Wolf.
Oh, that's terrible. You are not a Michael J. fan today, are you?
I love Michael J. Fox.
I don't know if you do.
I do.
You've been bringing him down all day.
But I just think that Styles is probably the most memorable character.
You don't think Danny DeVito could play Styles? Come on.
No, look. My theory has its limits. Man, I've got so many more left.
I only have 4 more.
See, I've got like 10. I'm just going to go through a couple here just to knock them down.
Yeah.
And not say a lot about them. Because, I'll pick 2 that we've said a lot about. Rikato Mataban as Khan in Star Trek The Wrath of Khan. I also have Steve Guttenberg as Kerry Mahoney from the original Police Academy.
I did not think Guttenberg would even make an appearance here.
It's the 1980s. Gutenberg's got to be on there for something. But yeah,
Mahoney, Punky. What about Mr. Miyagi? Does he belong in yours?
Mr. Miyagi's on my list.
Yeah, I thought about Daniel-san, but I think Miyagi is more of an
You're right.
Yeah.
The character is Mr. Miyagi.
Yeah,
that's the character of the movie.
Yeah, I think he steals the show in that for sure. Pat Morita, 84. Fantastic portrayal of Mr. Miyagi.
I'm telling you, Styles is the heart and soul of Teen Wolf.
John Travolta could have been Styles. Wouldn't make a difference.
That's a good point.
Jason Bateman tried to play the role of Scott, or his cousin at least. Didn't work out so well.
Let's go with Johnny Smith from The Dead Zone.
Okay, there you go. He did have a Dead Zone reference.
Christopher Walken.
Yeah.
If you've never seen The Dead Zone, this is again based off the Stephen King novel, and this is like classic Walken.
Champagne?
To the point that when he went through his renaissance in the late 90s, or I guess mid-90s, they did a Dead Zone parody on Saturday Night Live.
Well, yeah.
Like the Trivial Psychic. And it was that same thing. When he would go to shake hands, he would get a vision of what was going to happen.
Yeah.
You're going to buy an ice cream. It's going to be too hot. It's going to drip all over your shirt. That sort of thing.
It was good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And once again, comes down to a character trying to assassinate the president.
That's true. Yeah.
Much like Taxi Driver we talked about last week.
Oh, wow. A current team back then.
Well, I guess he wasn't trying to kill the president. He was going to assassinate a senator who would end up being the president that would cause World War III.
Close enough.
Played by Martin Sheen.
Oh, wow.
I think. Should have been played by Donald Trump.
It's possible back then, yeah.
Yeah, who's next on your list?
We haven't, I don't think, have we had any animated characters this whole time?
No, well, I had Gizmo, but that was a puppet. You had Yoda, that was a puppet.
I'm going to go straight up animation. And I think Roger Rabbit belongs on this list. I do believe so. And there's Zemeckis' creation from 1988.
Drink the drink.
But I don't want the drink.
He doesn't want the drink. He does.
I don't.
You do.
I don't.
You do.
I don't.
You do.
I don't.
You don't.
I do.
You don't.
I do.
You don't.
Listen, when I say I do, that means I do.
Once again, Jessica Rabbit could be the more memorable character, but Roger Rabbit is, he's
not
there.
Eddie?
No. I thought, in my eyes, Roger Rabbit was a huge thing back then, but nothing, no sequels, no proper, I mean, there could have been like a weird comic or a weird video game, but I feel like that was a buildable franchise they never did anything with.
Well, I think the problem with Roger Rabbit is so many people had to come together to make Roger Rabbit happen that, and then it was so successful that I'm sure there's a lot of disagreement as to what you can do with that franchise in the future. Like, is it Warner Brothers? Is it Disney? Well, because they were both represented in that movie.
That's true, yeah.
Disney would never do that today.
No way. No.
Disney would never do that today.
No way.
And even when you go to Disney World, there's no Roger Rabbit representation.
That's weird, isn't it? That's what I'm saying. It seems like they could build upon that franchise.
The only thing I saw that was Roger Rabbit was when we went backstage to where the old animation studios used to be.
Mm-hmm.
One of the old animation studios that I think they actually did some Roger Rabbit work in has a Roger Rabbit mural on the side where it looks like Roger Rabbit went through the wall.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
Wow.
But that's the only Roger Rabbit representation that I saw in Disney World.
I like the
And
character.
that's not even in the park.
I like the movie. I mean, Jessica Rabbit, it was weird back then. She gave me some feelings.
Jessica Rabbit is cosplayed more than Roger Rabbit.
That's very thankfully, that's true.
That seems to be like a popular go-to cosplay.
Yeah.
I'm Jessica Rabbit. What about Christopher Lloyd?
It was good.
Yeah, it's the
but
bad
once
guy.
again, you can't remember his name, so how iconic is that?
Was it?
See, I have no idea. To me, he's the bad guy.
Dr. something.
Yeah, we'll say Looney.
Dr. Looney. Let's see. What else on my list? How about Axel Foley from Beverly Hills Cop?
Very nice, very nice.
And the last one that I'm going to go with, and this does make two from the same actor on my list from the 1980s,
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to go with Jack Nicholson as the Joker.
Okay.
From Tim Burton's Batman.
Nice.
Hello, Vinny. It's your Uncle Bingo. Time to pay the check.
The pen is truly mightier than the sword.
Truthfully, it was just Jack Nicholson as the Joker. But as we talked about, I guess with Bill Murray, not a lot said by Jack Nicholson in that movie that isn't like a memorable line that you could repeat.
Yeah, that's true.
And he is fun to watch. He's fun to watch on the screen.
We have friends that like every single iteration of Joker, be it Jared Leto or the Dark Knight version or the animated version or the 60s version or Jack Nicholson's version. Is it possible the actors aren't so fantastic as we make them out to be? Just the character itself is a very good character anyone can play the part of. Is that possible?
If you're going to say...
really, we have people we know all versions.
One of the most memorable characters of all time, if we're putting a list together, Joker's going to be on my list.
Yeah.
Because for that very reason. No matter who plays him or what incarnation you see him in, he's usually fun to watch.
Yeah.
To me, he was the best part of Suicide Squad.
Yeah, without a doubt.
I thought. And even though I do prefer Heath Ledger's Joker from The Dark Knight, given the time and given what that original Batman movie did by Tim Burton, it was genius to cast Jack Nicholson as the Joker, even though he's a little older than probably he should have been.
Mm-hmm.
But he was fun. It was a lot of fun to watch.
Agreed. I guess my last one is kind of a sandwich here because last week my very first choice was Rocky Balboa, played by Sylvester Stallone. Why not finish it with John Rambo, 1982, First Blood. It's when we see our first appearance of Rambo, and that's... We've spoken before.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty awesome character. A little deeper than usual action movie fare.
How do we live, John?
Day by day. This movie here, when people say Stallone can't act, I tell them to go to the last 10 minutes of this movie and that little monologue of him crying and telling stories, and it's a good movie. Great acting. John Rambo's a great character.
And one of the biggest icons of the 1980s was easily Rambo.
Agreed.
Maybe not so much from John Rambo, but First Blood Part 2.
Yeah.
Well, that's it.
Yeah. I think I've got a little mentionable here. We've got to say Terminator. People will get mad at us if we don't say the Terminator.
I stayed away from all the Arnold characters because I figured you would have them.
Yeah, my list was so long, as you've seen. I had to trim the fat. I had to keep Scott on there from Teen Wolf.
Yeah, I know. Well, Conan was almost on my list.
Same here. Yeah.
Terminator was almost on my list.
Yeah.
But I really thought you would have him, so
if you're gonna go Drake from Total Recall, you can go deep.
That's true.
I love that character.
So who almost made your list that didn't?
What's his name? Doug something. Anyways, what'd you say?
Who almost made your list but didn't like Terminator?
Like you said, all the Schwarzenegger characters. I don't know. Even I like Hightower from Police Academy. He stands out to me as the characters.
See, Tackleberry almost made mine.
Yeah,
from Police Academy, but I went with Gutenberg.
For the most part, I think that was mostly all that was deserved. Like you said, a lot of the Brat Pack people, it's tough to nail them down to one character because most of the time they did the exact same character over and over again.
Yeah.
That's about it, though.
You can let us know who your favorite 1980s character is.
Yeah,
from
at
the movies.
Adam and JP on Twitter, Facebook.com/Adam and JP, and just check us out online anywhere at Adam and JP. You can get an email at ajp@adamandjp.com, and of course on Patreon.com/Pod Casserole.
I'm Jay Patrick. That's Adam.
Eat your Pod Casserole.
This has been a production of the Adam and JP family of on-demand talk radio.
AdamandJP.com.
Right now.
This has been a broadcast of the ESO Network, your station for all things geek, classic, current, and beyond. Be part of the crew at ESONetwork.com.